Hey guys, well, after my last video I thought I was done talking about Megaman for a while, but Capcom decided to charge money for a free game, so clearly I had to buy it and either recommend it to you guys or warn you about it, so let's get into it. For those that don't know, Megaman X DiVE was originally an Asia-exclusive free-to-play game released for mobile devices in 2020. I actually played this game right when it came out, and I remember being really excited and then completely disappointed with it. The game was essentially a gacha game littered with microtransactions and pretty much everything else I hate about the modern gaming industry, so I didn't play it for too long. But with that said, maybe shutting down the servers and making it an offline single-player only experience can help alleviate all the gripes I had with it before, so let's find out together. The game takes place in a database called the Deep Log, which holds data from all the Mega Man X games, and after a lot of that data gets corrupted, you, the player, are recruited to help fix everything. It's a simple premise, but it gives you an excuse for having so many unlockables in the game. Graphically, the menus and the 2D character art honestly look really nice, and are what originally made me excited to check out the game. In-game though, it's a little bit different. Since it's a mobile game, the 3D models are low resolution and the animations aren't very smooth. It doesn't look terrible or anything, but I did feel it was a little jarring considering how beautiful some of the 2D artwork is.
Mamma mia!
As for the gameplay itself, it definitely feels like a phone game. Once you've selected a stage and get into the game, you're going to be bombarded with a ton of text messages because the developers assume you're a casual phone user who's never seen a video game before. You can equip a main weapon and a sub-weapon like in the Mega Man Zero games, and you also have two special attacks that change depending on your selected character. I'll admit, it's pretty cool, but it did feel a little clunky at first, and it took me some time to get used to having so many different attacks. You can also double jump, and the game has an auto-aim feature, presumably because it would be too hard to play a Mega Man game the traditional way on a smartphone. And while I do understand it, it unfortunately does take a lot of the difficulty away from the game. The stages also look and feel pretty simple and can be very short at times, which also contribute to the game just feeling pretty shallow. I was really hoping they would have tweaked the controls on the PC version to make it handle more like a traditional Mega Man X game, but unfortunately that isn't the case here. The boss fights, however, are admittedly pretty fun and can definitely be challenging. They use the mechanics of the game very well, and I enjoyed these a lot, although they are pretty few and far between. Overall, the gameplay is by no means terrible, but if you're a fan of Mega Man, which the excessive character unlocks and fan service indicate the target audience clearly is, you'll be left wanting something with a little more depth. And speaking of unlockables, let's get into what the game is really made for. The original game was loaded with gacha mechanics and microtransactions, and every single item in the game had to be unlocked in pieces. Getting even the most simple upgrades was a chore and was clearly designed to entice you to whip out your credit card and just buy the game's digital currency to speed things up. Thankfully, with the release of this version, all of that's gone and everything can now be unlocked with in-game currency. It still takes a while to unlock things, but I was able to get a new character every few stages or so. There are over 40 characters in the game, and it's really cool to see this much content in a Mega Man title. If this were coupled with the core gameplay loop of an actual Mega Man X game, Capcom would have a real winner here, and it would feel like a true love letter to the franchise. However, if you're somebody who has played the original release and invested a lot of time and money into it, you must be furious about this game coming out. The developer even said on their website that it will not be possible to transfer your data over from the original game to this version. So I'm assuming that also means you're gonna completely lose everything you've paid for. And on top of that, Capcom is asking you to spend another $30 just to start over. So is the game worth $30? Personally, I don't think I can recommend it. Even with the removal of all the microtransactions, I feel like the gameplay itself just isn't deep enough to justify spending money on it. It might have been pretty normal for a mobile game, but on PC, my standards for a Mega Man game are much higher. I would probably pay $15 max, and I would highly recommend waiting for a sale before giving this a shot. And even then, I think you should only consider picking this game up if you haven't already sunk a lot of time or money into the original version. Hopefully that helps any of you who may have been on the fence about getting this game, and if you enjoyed this video and want to see more, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what games you'd like to see me check out in another video. Have a good one.